We completely forgot about the Oklahoma City Thunder. I know people want to talk about the Celtics, the Timberwolves, the Nuggets, all these other teams in the NBA, but I feel like no one's really talking about the Thunder. And I don't understand why. It's not crazy to say that OKC is one of the best teams in basketball right now. Currently, they're sitting at second in the Western Conference, and yet they're being neglected like crazy. In a way, it feels kind of disrespectful, especially when they're not even a game back away from the #1 seed in the West. For the entire season, I've been saying that Minnesota has been the best team in the West, and I'm still going to stand on that. I do believe currently they're still the best. However, I want it to be known that OKC is not that far away from Minnesota right now. Coming into the season, I don't think many people thought OKC was going to be one of the best teams in the West. I think a lot of people assumed they were going to make the playoffs but be around a 6 or 5 seed. Nobody thought they were going to be doing as well as they are, so to say the least, they are exceeding expectations. And the good thing about being a really young team like the Oklahoma City Thunder is that no one really expects anything of you. Like I said, people were saying they could maybe make the playoffs. Now what's crazy is it only took one small, well I'd say tall thing to change the entire dynamic of this team. But first, I want to start with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I am so sick of people saying that Shai is not a top 10 player in the NBA. I am so sick and tired of the disrespect this man has constantly been getting these past couple years. Everyone's been saying, oh, Shai is just empty stats. That's not fucking true. Shai is one of the best scorers in the NBA, and honestly, he's also one of the best two-way players in basketball. Fun fact, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you know, the guy that can easily average 30 points a night? Yeah, that guy also leads the NBA in steals. And if you watch the game, you can clearly tell that Shai is a very good defender. You don't have to look at stats to know that. Shai is a very important part of OKC's perimeter defense. And again, did I forget to mention this man can casually just drop 30 points with ease? Mind you, he's doing this on pretty solid efficiency. Now with Shai being the primary ball handler of this team, did you guys know that he has about a usage rate of about 32%, and yet he turns over the ball way less times compared to other guys with similar usage rates. So not only can Shai score the ball, not only can he protect the ball, he can defend the ball. Currently, he is third in the NBA right now in scoring overall, which isn't that much of a surprise to me, but if it wasn't for Joel Embiid cherry picking games, Shai would literally be number 2, possibly number 1 as the season goes on. And speaking of cherry picking games, I want to point out the fact that Shai isn't doing this for his bum teams. Like, it's not like Shai is going for 40 against the Charlotte Hornets and then like having 20 or 25 against like a contender like the Timberwolves. Shai is having some of his best performances versus some of the best teams in the NBA. For example, not even a week ago, he had 40 versus the Nuggets. Last night, he had an efficient 36 versus the Boston Celtics. Mind you, some people would regard Boston as the best team in basketball, but yet Shai with ease was scoring against this team. And it's not just these two teams. He's played against Minnesota, he's played Denver a handful of times. He's doing his thing versus some of the best. I know a lot of people want to say it's empty stats, but I disagree with that. I think Shai time and time again is proving why he is one of the best scorers in basketball. But yet, I don't think he's the main reason OKC's been doing well. See, Shai's been dominating these past couple years, but there's one player they didn't have last year that is very vital to what OKC's been doing. While everyone was saying that Victor Wembanyama was gonna guaranteed be the rookie of the year and have an all-star selection as a rookie, we kind of forgot about Chet Holmgren. Yes, Chet Holmgren was technically drafted last year, but he missed the previous season due to an injury. And now we're seeing his true rookie year, and honestly, he's better than we all expected. I made a dedicated video about Chet Holmgren about a couple months ago, and that video is aging perfectly well. But Chet being a great defender, we expected that. We knew it was going to happen. Now, did we think he was going to be this developed at such a young age? No. But something we did not expect is Chet to be so perfect on the offensive side. Chet Holmgren is very versatile, not just on the offense, but I'd say as a player. But staying on the topic of offense, Chet Holmgren can do just about everything. He can shoot the ball pretty well for being a big man. He can drive inside. He has a solid mid-range game. You can play him in the pick and roll, but he's also someone that can shoot the ball pretty efficiently. In fact, last time we checked on Chet Holmgren, he was having a 50-40-90 season. Now, unfortunately, at the time recording this video, he's having a 50-40-83 season. So if he could just shoot better from the free throw line a little bit, there's a chance he could re-enter that club. Which again, I don't think people understand. Being a 50-40-90 shooter for an entire season is a very hard thing to do. Regardless, with those shooting splits, we can tell that Chet is a very efficient player. Now, going back to defense, because it's something I really want to talk about, Chet can do a lot of things on the defensive side. And like I said, he's very versatile, both on offense and defense. In fact, there have been a lot of teams in the NBA that I've talked about this year where, let's say their offense is like number 3 in the NBA, but their defense is like in the top 15 or maybe outside the top 10. Or it'll be the opposite. But in this case, the Oklahoma City Thunder are top 5 in just about every statistic. Right now, the Oklahoma City Thunder are flirting with a number 6 defensive rating right now, and they're damn near in the top 5. And if we compare their defensive rating last year of 14th in the NBA, it's not that hard to figure out what's going on. Chet Holmgren had a bigger impact than I think a lot of people expected. And a part of me does believe if last year he wasn't injured, the Thunder would have been better, but on the contrary, I feel like he needed that extra year to develop. But if you've been watching the Thunder, you knew Shai was doing well, you knew Chet was doing well, but I feel like there are players we need to talk about that no one's really going to bring up. I mean, these are guys that are never really going to get a dedicated video unless you do something that is very, very bad. So I kind of want to talk about some of these guys one by one really fast. What's good, boys? So I thought today we'd do a little fun little wager. Usually this is the time of the video where I tell you guys to leave a like, subscribe, and things of that nature. But today I thought we'd do a little bit of a wager. You know what I'm saying? I know some of y'all are some gambling degenerates, and it's all good. So tonight, at the time recording this video, the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to be playing the Atlanta Hawks. If the OKC Thunder win that game, y'all boys gotta come back to this video and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It is completely free, there's no risk, and we are dropping amazing NBA videos every single week. The goal is to drop 2 to 3 videos a week, and so far we've done that. This is going to be the second one of the year. But in case the Thunder don't win and you enjoy the content regardless, man, subscribe. We're trying to hit 50K this year. All right, boys, let's get back to the video. Number 1, I just want to shout out the entire bench because the entire team, including the bench, is shooting 38% from the three-point line. They're second in the NBA in three-point shooting. So to say this team is good at shooting is kind of an understatement. And again, this isn't just the starting 5. Shout out my podcast. This isn't just the starting 5. This is the bench included. For example, a guy like Isaiah Joe is shooting 42% from 3 this year. Josh Giddey is someone that's been struggling the entire year, but I will say in these past 10 games, he's shooting about 45% from 3. Overall, not even just shooting, I would say Josh Giddey has been improving a lot these past games, because I know a lot of people said, oh, they should trade him, they should release him, and it's not just because of the off-court stuff. Josh Giddey was having, not the best season. He was definitely going down as far as production. And when you look at the roster, it was very hard to see where exactly he should fit because OKC just has so much talent, but I will give him credit. Like, for example, last game versus Boston, I think he had like 23 and he did it pretty efficiently. Hell, even someone like Lou Dort, who's been known to be a defensive presence, is shooting 41% from 3 this year. For context, this is a guy that normally shoots about 34%, give or take. And last year, there was a rookie that came into the league that a lot of people didn't even talk about until it was later on in the year, but J-Dub. This man is having a career year. His sophomore season, I know there's always a sophomore slump for some players. J-Dub in his sophomore year has improved in just about every statistic. I mean, last year he was shooting 35% from 3, which isn't too bad for a rookie, but this year he's shooting damn near 43% from 3. Also, all around, J-Dub has just been an amazing player. Currently, he's averaging about 18 points per game, and I'd say so far out of the rookies from last year, he's having one of the more better sophomore seasons. So, in conclusion, what can we learn about the bench? Well, for one, this team is stacked with shooters. They're stacked with guys that are solid on the defensive side. They have a bunch of guys that can overall do a lot of things, and Mark Diagonal, yes, I said his name right, is one hell of a coach. Oh, and for the record, Mark Diagonal needs to win Coach of the Year. This guy's done an incredible job. I mean, the jump this team has made, it is amazing to see. And as somebody whose favorite player has always been Kevin Durant, I've had a little, soft spot for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And also, I know someone who is a Thunder fan. Shout out to Gobbers, Go Bells, Gabolabla. But a team that I also have a very soft spot for because they're my favorite team is the Phoenix Suns. They've been struggling this year. If you want to see why, well, you know the drill.